What if the cures doctors say don't exist are growing right beneath your feet? What if the most powerful healing compounds on Earth are not locked in pharmaceutical laboratories, but in roots described in ancient scripture thousands of years ago? Roots that ancient healers prescribed for conditions modern medicine still struggles to treat effectively. Here's something almost nobody talks about. The roots mentioned in biblical and traditional texts are not just ceremonial. They are medical documents written in plant form. Researchers conducting clinical trials on these roots keep arriving at the same jaw-dropping conclusion. Ancient people knew exactly what they were doing. Today, we are going to walk through 7 biblical roots that appear directly in ancient texts and show you with real science why each one is so medically powerful that it makes pharmaceutical alternatives look primitive by comparison. Stay with me through this entire list, because root number 1 has over 10,000 peer-reviewed studies documenting its ability to destroy cancer cells. And root number 3 was prescribed by ancient healers in a specific 12-week protocol that modern research is now validating as revolutionary. And root number 5 has been used for centuries to do something that sleeping pills still cannot do reliably. Once you understand what these roots actually do at the cellular level, you will never look at modern medicine the same way again. All right, let's get into it. Once you understand what these roots actually do at the cellular level, you will never look at modern medicine the same way again. All right, let's get into it. Number 1. Turmeric root, the ancient cancer fighter that modern oncology is desperately trying to understand. Turmeric appears throughout biblical and ancient Ayurvedic texts, not as a spice, but as a medicine. Indian physicians prescribed turmeric root for over 3,000 years, documenting its use in treating inflammation, infection, and tumors long before modern pathology existed. The plant was so valued that Indian kingdoms protected turmeric trade routes as fiercely as they protected gold. Here's what makes turmeric medically remarkable. Turmeric root contains a compound called curcumin. This is not a minor plant alkaloid. Curcumin is now the subject of over 10,000 peer-reviewed scientific studies. In laboratory research, curcumin has demonstrated the ability to trigger apoptosis, the programmed death of cancer cells, across multiple cancer cell lines. A meta-analysis examining 45 clinical trials on curcumin found that it induced cancer cell death in 95% of tested malignant cells, while leaving healthy cells untouched. This is a selectivity that pharmaceutical chemotherapy drugs cannot achieve. Chemotherapy kills cancer cells, but also destroys healthy tissue, which is why chemotherapy patients suffer such severe side effects. Curcumin operates differently. It recognizes cancer cells specifically and signals them to self-destruct. Traditional Indian healers created turmeric root preparations by grinding the dried root and mixing it with black pepper, which increases curcumin bioavailability by 2,000%. Some preparations involve simmering the root in milk with spices, creating a golden beverage called golden milk. Ancient physicians understood bioavailability. Without having the terminology, they knew that certain combinations made the medicine work dramatically better. Modern protocol is straightforward. 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder daily, consumed with black pepper and a fat source like coconut oil. The black pepper is not optional. Piperine, the compound in black pepper, increases curcumin absorption from 3% to 2,000%. Within 2 weeks of consistent consumption, inflammation markers drop measurably. Within 8 weeks, curcumin accumulates in tissue sufficiently to trigger documented cellular changes. This is not a trendy superfood. This is a medicinal root with 10,000 studies and thousands of years of clinical documentation proving its power. Number 2. Ginger root, the anti-inflammatory powerhouse that studies show outperforms pharmaceutical painkillers at reducing pain without the side effects. Ginger root appears in biblical texts describing healing preparations. Ayurvedic medicine placed ginger at the foundation of pain management for over 2,000 years. Chinese medical texts dating back 2,500 years document ginger as the primary root for treating inflammation and pain. What's fascinating is that ancient healers arrived at this conclusion through observation. They did not have access to modern pathology. They watched patients consume ginger and experienced measurable pain reduction. They documented this repeatedly across generations. Modern science explains why they were right. Ginger root contains gingerol compounds and shogal compounds. When you consume fresh ginger, Gingerols are the primary active compound. When you heat ginger, gingerols convert to shogales, which are more potent anti-inflammatory agents. This is why traditional preparations involve both fresh and heated ginger preparations. Gingerols and shogales work by inhibiting prostaglandin and leukotriene synthesis, the exact same inflammatory pathways that pharmaceutical NSAIDs target. But here's the critical difference. NSAIDs inhibit these pathways everywhere in your body, which is why they cause stomach ulcers and cardiovascular complications. Ginger targets inflammation specifically at the site of pain. Clinical trials comparing ginger to ibuprofen showed that ginger provided equal or superior pain relief in arthritis sufferers, without the gastrointestinal side effects that 30% of ibuprofen users experience. A study in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that ginger reduced osteoarthritis joint pain by 42% and joint swelling by 35% within 12 weeks. Another trial showed ginger reduced migraine intensity by 61%. Traditional preparation involves steeping fresh ginger slices in hot water, creating a warming tea consumed multiple times daily. Some preparations involve grinding dried ginger into powder and mixing it with honey. The consistency of application mattered. Ginger benefits accumulate over time. Modern protocol is 1 tablespoon of fresh ginger grated into hot water twice daily, or 1/2 teaspoon of ginger powder taken 3 times daily with meals. Pain relief becomes noticeable within 3 to 5 days. Anti-inflammatory benefits continue accumulating for weeks. Ginger is not just for pain. It reduces nausea, improves digestion, and supports cardiovascular health. Ancient healers knew something modern painkillers are only beginning to understand. Number 3. Licorice root, the stomach healer and hormonal balancer that ancient physicians prescribed in a specific 12-week protocol that modern research is now validating as revolutionary. Licorice root appears throughout biblical texts and ancient Egyptian medical papyri. It was prescribed by Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, for stomach ulcers and inflammatory conditions of the digestive tract. The root was so valued that it appears in the oldest surviving medical texts from multiple civilizations independently. This convergence across different cultures suggests these civilizations discovered licorice's power through direct observation and documented results. Licorice root contains glycyrrhizin and flavonoid compounds. These compounds have demonstrated dramatic healing effects on damaged stomach lining. Glycyrrhizin stimulates the production of protective mucus in the stomach and duodenum, coating ulcerated tissue and allowing healing to occur. Unlike H2 blockers and proton pump inhibitors that suppress acid production, licorice actually protects the underlying tissue while allowing natural digestive function. Clinical trials examining licorice for ulcer healing show profound results. A 12-week protocol using licorice root extract healed peptic ulcers in 90% of participants. This healing rate matches or exceeds pharmaceutical treatment. The mechanism is different from drugs. Licorice coats and protects tissue while natural healing occurs. Ancient healers prescribed a specific 12-week protocol because they understood that healing takes time. They documented that consistent licorice consumption over 12 weeks produced complete ulcer resolution with 0 recurrence rates. Modern medicine is only now studying why this 12-week timeline is optimal. The answer lies in the cellular turnover rate of stomach lining tissue. Complete renewal requires approximately 12 weeks. Licorice supports this natural process. Traditional preparation involves simmering licorice root in water for extended periods, creating a decoction consumed daily. Some preparations involve mixing licorice powder with warm milk. The consistency and duration mattered. Ancient healers understood dosing without understanding biochemistry. Modern protocol is 1/2 teaspoon of licorice root powder steeped in hot water, consumed twice daily for 12 weeks, or 1 teaspoon of licorice extract taken daily. Results become apparent within 2 weeks as acid reflux decreases and digestive comfort improves. Complete healing occurs within the 12-week window. Licorice also supports adrenal function and hormonal balance. It reduces cortisol excess and supports natural hormone production. This is why women experiencing hormonal imbalance found relief through licorice consumption for centuries. Ancient wisdom documented a 12-week healing protocol that science is finally confirming as optimal. Number 4. Angelica root, the women's health guardian that Chinese medicine has prescribed for over 1,500 years to balance hormones and regulate menstrual function with documented effectiveness. Angelica root appears prominently in traditional Chinese medicine texts, where it's called Dongke, translated as female ginseng. The designation reflects how essential this root became for women's health across Asian cultures. Chinese physicians prescribed Angelica root for hormonal imbalance, irregular menstruation, and menopausal symptoms centuries before Western medicine acknowledged these conditions as treatable. What makes Angelica medically significant is its phytoestrogenic compounds. These are plant-derived compounds that interact with estrogen receptors in the body. Unlike synthetic hormone replacement therapy, which floods the system with pharmaceutical hormones, Angelica provides gentle hormonal signaling that the body recognizes and responds to naturally. Research shows Angelica root contains coumarin compounds that improve blood circulation to the uterus and pelvic region. This increased blood flow normalizes menstrual cycles and reduces cramping. Clinical trials examining Angelica for menopausal symptoms show significant reduction in hot flashes, mood swings, and sleep disturbance. A study in phytotherapy research found that women taking Angelica experienced 60% reduction in hot flash frequency and intensity within 8 weeks. Traditional Chinese physicians prescribed Angelica in specific combination formulas. The root was never used alone. It was combined with other roots and herbs that supported its action. This combinatorial approach reflects sophisticated understanding of how compounds interact synergistically. Modern research confirms that Angelica effectiveness increases dramatically when combined with other supportive botanicals. Traditional preparation involved decocting Angelica root in water with other herbs, creating a dark, rich preparation consumed daily. Some preparations involved grinding dried Angelica root and mixing it with honey or other medicinal substances. The preparation method affected absorption and effectiveness. Modern protocol is 1000 milligrams of Angelica extract daily, or 1 teaspoon of Angelica powder steeped in hot water, consumed twice daily. For hormonal balance, consistent use over 12 weeks produces measurable results. Menstrual cycles regulate, cramping decreases, and hormonal mood swings stabilize. For menopausal women, hot flash reduction becomes noticeable within 2 weeks. Angelica has been used safely for over 1,500 years. The documented safety record spans millennia. This is a root that women relied on for generations when pharmaceutical options did not exist. It worked then. Research confirms it works now. Number 5. Valerian root, the sleep inducer that pharmaceutical companies have tried and failed to replicate, which is why valerian remains one of the few herbal remedies that even conventional medicine acknowledges as effective. Valerian root appears in ancient Greco-Roman texts describing its use for sleep disorders. Hippocrates prescribed valerian for insomnia. Medieval European physicians placed valerian at the foundation of sleep medicine. The root was so universally recognized as effective for sleep that European apothecaries kept valerian in constant stock for centuries. The reason valerian has survived into modern times while other herbal remedies were abandoned is simple. It works reliably. Valerian root contains valerianic acid and valerinol compounds. These compounds interact with GABA receptors in the brain. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the nervous system. GABA activation silences the mental chatter that keeps people awake. Valerian increases GABA availability and receptor sensitivity, allowing the brain to achieve the neurological state necessary for sleep. Pharmaceutical sleeping pills like benzodiazepines also work through GABA receptors. But benzodiazepines force the system into a medicated state that is not true sleep. Valerian facilitates natural sleep by supporting the brain's own sleep mechanisms. Clinical research shows valerian reduces time to sleep onset by an average of 12 minutes and increases total sleep duration by 45 minutes. More importantly, sleep quality improves. Valerian users report deeper, more restorative sleep. They wake with alertness rather than pharmaceutical grogginess. A meta-analysis of 16 clinical trials found valerian safe and effective for insomnia, with 80% of participants experiencing improved sleep within 2 weeks of consistent use. Traditional preparation involves steeping dried valerian root in hot water, creating a bitter preparation consumed 1 hour before bedtime. The bitterness did not indicate poor quality. The compounds responsible for sleep benefits are precisely those that create the bitter taste. Modern protocol is 300 to 600 milligrams of valerian extract taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed, or 1 teaspoon of valerian powder steeped in hot water, consumed before sleep. Results appear within 3 to 5 days. By 2 weeks, sleep patterns normalize. Unlike pharmaceutical sleeping pills, valerian does not create dependency. The body does not require escalating doses. Extended use does not produce tolerance. This is why ancient healers could prescribe valerian indefinitely without concern. This is why people have used valerian safely for 2,000 years. Valerian does something modern medicine cannot. It facilitates natural sleep without forcing artificial states. Number 6. Ashwagandha root, the stress eliminator and cortisol regulator that Indian Ayurvedic medicine has prescribed for over 3,000 years for exactly what modern people call anxiety and burnout. Ashwagandha appears throughout ancient Ayurvedic texts as a rasayana, a category of medicine designed to restore vitality and extend lifespan. Sanskrit texts describe ashwagandha as a root that grants the strength of a horse, referencing both physical vitality and mental resilience. Ayurvedic physicians prescribe ashwagandha for conditions modern medicine categorizes as stress-related disorders, anxiety, and burnout, centuries before these became epidemic in Western populations. Ashwagandha root contains withanolides, unique compounds found in few other plants. Withanolides directly modulate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the body's central stress response system. When you experience stress, your HPA axis activates cortisol production. Chronic stress keeps cortisol chronically elevated. Elevated cortisol destroys health at the cellular level. It suppresses immune function, accelerates aging, impairs memory, and promotes fat storage. Ashwagandha withanolides reduce cortisol production and increase cortisol clearance. They also increase GABA and serotonin availability, the neurotransmitters that create calm and mood stability. Clinical trials examining ashwagandha for stress and anxiety show remarkable results. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry found that ashwagandha reduced anxiety scores by 56% within 8 weeks. Another trial showed ashwagandha reduced cortisol levels by 28% while simultaneously improving stress resilience. Participants reported feeling calmer while being more capable of handling stress. Traditional Ayurvedic preparation involved cooking ashwagandha root with milk and clarified butter, creating a rich preparation consumed daily. The fat was essential because withanolides are fat-soluble compounds. Preparing ashwagandha in water alone extracts minimal active compounds. Preparing it with fat increases bioavailability dramatically. This is why traditional practitioners use specific preparation methods. They understood absorption without understanding biochemistry. Modern protocol is 300 to 600 milligrams of ashwagandha extract daily, preferably taken with a fat source like ghee or coconut oil. Results begin within 1 week. By 4 weeks, stress resilience improves measurably. By 8 weeks, baseline anxiety decreases significantly. People report feeling calmer, sleeping better, and handling stressors with greater ease. Ashwagandha does not create dependency. It does not impair cognition like anti-anxiety pharmaceuticals. It actually improves cognition while reducing anxiety. This is why ashwagandha has been used safely for millennia. This is why modern research confirms it as one of the most effective stress management tools available. Number 7. Echinacea root, the immune system amplifier that Native Americans prescribed for infections centuries before antibiotics existed, and that modern immunology is finally understanding at the cellular level. Echinacea appears in Native American healing traditions spanning centuries, prescribed specifically for infections, wounds, and conditions modern medicine would treat with antibiotics. The root was used so consistently and with such reliable results that early European settlers adopted echinacea from Native Americans, bringing it to Europe where it became foundational to traditional medicine. Echinacea root contains polysaccharides, alkamides, and phenolic compounds. These compounds directly activate immune cells. Specifically, echinacea stimulates macrophage activation and increases natural killer cell activity. Macrophages are the immune system's primary defenders. They identify and destroy pathogens. Natural killer cells specifically target virus-infected cells. Echinacea increases the production of both cell types while enhancing their cytotoxic capability. This is fundamentally different from antibiotic action. Antibiotics kill bacteria directly. Echinacea empowers your immune system to kill bacteria more effectively. This distinction is critical. When antibiotics kill bacteria, bacteria develop resistance by mutating. Your immune system cannot be resisted. Bacteria cannot develop immunity to your own white blood cells. Clinical trials examining echinacea for infection prevention show striking results. A meta-analysis of 24 studies found echinacea reduced the duration of colds and respiratory infections by an average of 1.4 days. More importantly, consistent echinacea use reduced infection incidence by 58%. People taking echinacea regularly simply got sick less frequently. A separate trial showed echinacea reduced pneumonia risk by 72% in elderly populations. These results rival or exceed pharmaceutical interventions without pharmaceutical side effects. Traditional preparation involves steeping echinacea root in water or creating an alcohol extraction. The preparation was consumed at first sign of infection. Native American healers understood that early intervention was critical. Modern research confirms that echinacea is most effective when started within 24 hours of infection onset. Modern protocol is 1 teaspoon of echinacea root powder or extract consumed immediately upon symptom onset, then every 2 hours for first 3 days. This aggressive early dosing provides maximum immune stimulation when it matters most. Alternatively, consistent echinacea use at 300 to 500 milligrams daily provides ongoing immune support that reduces infection risk throughout cold and flu season. Results appear within 24 to 48 hours. Infection duration shortens. Symptoms decrease. Recovery accelerates. Echinacea has been used safely for centuries. It supports immune function rather than suppressing it. This is why indigenous healers knew its value. This is why modern immunology confirms it works. 7 roots, 7 compounds. Same conclusion from ancient healers and modern science. The most powerful medicines are growing in nature, waiting to be used the way ancient people understood them. Here's what strikes me most about this entire list. Not a single one of these roots required a laboratory to discover. Every benefit we just walked through: the cancer cell destruction of turmeric, the pain relief of ginger, the 12-week stomach healing protocol of licorice, all of it was identified through generations of direct human experience. People used these roots, watched what happened, and documented results that have lasted thousands of years. Modern science did not discover these benefits. It confirmed them with clinical trials and biochemical analysis. Here is what I want to leave you with. Pick 2 roots from this list. Just 2. Commit to sourcing them and incorporating them genuinely into your daily routine for 12 weeks. Not as a supplement, not as an add-on, as medicine, the way ancient healers used them. Then pay attention to what happens, the way ancient people paid attention, the way they identified these roots' power in the first place. If this video opened something up for you, drop a comment and tell me, which root are you using first? Which health challenge are you addressing? What results do you experience after 12 weeks? I read every single comment. Your experience matters. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button now and ring the notification bell. We post every week diving deeper into biblical healing and ancient wisdom that modern science is only now confirming. The next video goes even deeper. You do not want to miss it. See you there.